माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य विभूति फाउंडर आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। व्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। शील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज। ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 25, Text 35. paśyanti te me rucirāṇyam satah prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākam vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti paśyanti te me rucirāṇyam satah prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākam vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti paśyanti te me rucirāṇyam satah prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākam vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti paśyanti te me rucirāṇyam satah prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākam vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti paśyanti te me rucirāṇyambam sataḥ prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākaṁ vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti. paśyanti te me rucirāṇyambam santaḥ prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākaṁ vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti. Vaishnavis. paśyanti te me rucirāṇyambam santaḥ prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākaṁ vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti. paśyanti te me rucirāṇyambam santaḥ prasanna-vaktrāruṇa-locanāni rūpāṇi divyāni vara-pradāni sākaṁ vācam spṛhaṇīyāṁ vadanti. paśyanti, see, they, they, me, my, rucirāṇi, beautiful, amba, oh mother, santaḥ, devotees, prasanna, smiling, vaktra, face, aruṇa, like the morning sun, locanāni, eyes, rūpāṇi, forms, divyāni, transcendental, vara-pradāni, benevolent, sākam, with me, vācam, words, spṛhaṇīyāṁ, favorable, vadanti, they speak. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki char. Translation. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Purport. Māyāvādīs and atheists accept the forms of the deities in the temple of the Lord as idols, but devotees do not worship idols. They directly worship the personality of Godhead in his arcā incarnation. Arcā refers to the form which can worship in our present condition. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in his spiritual form, because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of spiritual form. We cannot even see the spiritual form of an individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how the spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect in our material senses. in order to be seen by our material senses. The Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form which is called arcā-vigraha. This arcā-vigraha, sometimes called the Archa incarnation, is not different from him. Just as the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations, he takes on forms made out of matter, that's clay, wood, metal, and jewels. There are many Shastric injunctions which give instructions for carving forms of the Lord. These forms are not material. If God is all-pervading, then he is also in the material elements. There is no doubt about it. But the atheists think otherwise. Although they preach that everything is God, when they go to the temple and see the form of Lord, they deny that he is God. According to their own theory, everything is God. Then why is the deity not God? Actually, they have no conception of God. The devotee's vision, however, is different. Their vision is smeared with love of God. As soon as they see the Lord in his different forms, the devotees become saturated with love, for they do not find any difference between the Lord and his form in the temple, as do the atheists. The smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees as a transcendental and spiritual, and the decorations of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees. It is the duty of a spiritual master to teach how to decorate the deity in the temple, how to cleanse the temple, and how to worship the deity. There are different procedures and rules and regulations which are followed in temples of Vishnu, and devotees go there and see the deity, the Vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form, because all the deities are benevolent. The devotees express their minds before the deity, and in many instances, the deity also gives answers. But one must be very elevated devotee in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams. These exchanges of feelings between deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists, but actually the devotee enjoys them. Kapila Muni is explaining how the devotees see the decorated body and face of the deity and how they speak with him in devotional service. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paśyatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all devotees so that I can speak something glorifying Lord for all of your pleasure and for my purification. So we are here wherein Kapila Dev, he is replying to Mother Devahuti. So in today's verse, he is saying, "Oh mother, oh my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent. And they also talk favorably with me." So we'll see three things. First, difference between ideal worship and idol worship. And we'll see how this arcā-vigraha is different from normal idols. And also we'll see the mood in which we need to do this worship, otherwise how this vigraha becomes galagraha. And the third thing we'll discuss is beautiful form of Krishna. So here Prabhupada, to start with, he says that Māyāvādīs and atheists accept the form of the deities in the temple of the Lord as idols, but devotees do not worship idols. Okay. So many times even when new people come, or they say, these are the, who these idols are. So we need to educate them. These are not idols, these are deities. So then, but they may say that, oh, but this is also kind of looks like a marble or a wood. How it is different from, what we are seeing sitting on a marble or the wooden doors. So we can give very simple examples to make that clear. So we have currency notes, right? It's a paper. And we have a tissue paper. So suppose there is a $100 bill, you are eating and some sauce spills. Do we say that, oh, take this $100 bill and just wipe it? I'll say no. It's not supposed to be doing that. Oh, but this is also paper, that is also paper. Only thing, this is a colorful paper, right? That is the difference only, right? But no, that colorful paper has been authorized to represent something, right? So, of course, in US here they say, in God we trust. But in India, if we see the notes, there they say that the governor of Reserve Bank, he says that I authorize that, that particular denomination, whatever is in that note, please exchange goods or anything with that, amount, right? So basically that has been authorized by someone, a governor or government. So that same paper becomes different. We cannot use it as a tissue paper or a toilet paper, right? Same paper. At the end of the day, it's paper, right? So same way, the deities, when they are carved, the pure devotee, he requests the Lord to appear. That is called as prāṇa-pratishtha. Prāṇa meaning life, pratishtha meaning being inviting or situating. So that prāṇa-pratishtha ceremony, what it differs from a paper and a currency, or a idol and a deity. So in our pujari room there is a photo wherein Srila Prabhupada is dressing Rukmini Dwarkanath, right? So it's like at the time of Prana Pratishtha, inviting the deities. So another simple example, Prabhupada is saying that atheists believe that God is everywhere, but then they don't accept God is not in temple. So we can plainly ask, water is everywhere, right? H2O, there is a steam, right? Do we do like this when we are thirsty? Or we'll do like this? No. We have to go to a tap, get the water. Why? Because water is more accessible in a tap. Though water is everywhere, if you go to Venus Beach, you just do, there is so much humidity, a lot of water in the air, right? But we don't drink. Oh, I am thirsty, let me go to beach. No, it doesn't work. We need to go to tab. So same way, the God, though he is everywhere, he is more accessible in the deity form. It's like tab. You come, drink. Beauty of Lord. It's more accessible. I cannot appreciate the same Lord present on a footpath or in a garbage truck. Though he is all pervading, he is not accessible there. Here it is more accessible. So this is a simple example, but very striking, right? If somebody says, why we need to come temple? Tell me, you want to drink water in air? No. It's very easy to relate, right? So it's the first thing, that the Lord, he is not idle. He is a deity because there is a process of authorizing, prana pratishtha. Another example, we hear about this gun violence, right? People shooting, and then the police is busy behind, that fellow. So if somebody just kills one person, there is whole police force trying to, be behind. But in war, we see some guy kills some 100 soldiers, he is brought with so much fanfare, and the medals are given, a lot of praise is given. Now that guy has killed 100 times more. And this fellow has just killed one person, What is the difference? The soldier is authorized, while the civilian is not authorized. Same, easy to understand. So same way, the deities, when the pure devotee invites them to reside, so that we can, give our services to him. As Prabhupada very nicely says, when a person dies, we cannot even see soul. Forget about soul. We cannot see if it is too close or too far. So eyes are, such imperfect things. So then how can we see spiritual things? So therefore, Lord accepts a material form, and he accepts our service. Like yesterday, we had such a beautiful festival, and dressed so nicely, morning dress, flower outfit, so beautiful. Devotees worked so tirelessly, right? Why? So that we can. That is the form in which Lord reciprocates. But that also doesn't mean that Lord's form is material. Once Prabhupada had asked, which part of deity Krishna resides? Can somebody answer? Which part of a deity Krishna resides in? Everywhere. So actually it's not that Krishna resides in a deity's heart or anything. Krishna is deity. Deity is Krishna. There's no difference. So this form, when invited by Lord, the pure devotees, it becomes non-different from Krishna. And then there are so many incidences wherein now the next point Prabhupada is saying is that, okay, so there are rules in which the deity should be, carved. We know this when in Mayapur we have this Ugra Narasimha, right? So first of all, when devotees approach this, they call Sthapati, they call it, right? The one who carves the deity in South India. That fellow straight away rejected. No, I cannot carve this form of deity because it's very ferocious, and if not worshipped, forget about the worshipper. Even one who has carved, he will get karma. So, but the devotees were morose, they went, and then after a few days they got a call from this person that you come, I'll carve. Then they were very happy, they went there. He said, what happened? He said, I went to my guru and he said, he asked me, who were asking you to carve this deity? He said, this ISKCON devotee. He said, then you can carve, okay? Then this devotee were very happy, they decided, yes, we'll carve. Then this devotee came after 6 months, he said, so how is the deity carving going on? He said, what carving? I have not even found the stone. Shiva said, there are so many stones lying around, Why don't you just pick up stone? He said, no, that's not. There are rules. So as Prabhupada is mentioning here, there are many shastric injunctions which give instructions for carving the form of Lord. So it says that there are living stones. So they have particular tendencies, those people they know actually. So that Sthapati, it took him 6 months or more to find a stone from which, Lord Narasimha's deity was carved. So it's not that just, carving. Even like this Lord Sri Ram, just we had an installation in Ayodhya. They said that particular stone, it looks black, but it's actually deep blue color. And they say it's a couple of million years old, living stone. So, they have particular standards. They cannot just, I got up and, I start carving. No, they have a particular set of rituals. They worship the tools. They see proper day, time. They have to work only in certain conditions. So a lot of rules are there. If you have to do it in proper way, not in drilling machine and, carve the way you want. No, that's a business. But carving actually, so that's Prabhupada is mentioning, arcā-vigraha. So, so that's another thing. And when such deity is carved, and when a pure devotee invites the Lord, the devotees can even express their heart, and Lord also expresses. There is a classic example of Ramanujacharya's pastime. I'm forgetting his name. One of the devotee, help me someone if they remember their name, he used to talk with Varadaraj. It'll come, I'll tell you the name of this devotee. So basically this devotee, he was from a socially low class background, but he had such a deep devotion for Varadaraj, and his service was to fan Varadaraj. And while fanning, he used to talk, and then the people of Kanchipurna, they used to ask him questions. Ask when my daughter is going to get married, ask when this is going to happen. So he, while fanning, he used to talk a lot, and Varadaraj used to answer, One day just thought came to his mind, let me ask, when I'll go back to spiritual world. So ask, oh Lord Varadaraj, such a merciful Lord, when I'll go back to spiritual world, So Varadaraj says, you won't go soon. He said, oh, why? He said, you are just serving me, you don't serve my devotees, So he immediately puts the fan down and he goes out, to serve the devotees actually. Somehow I am forgetting the name actually, I am really sorry. So this very famous devotee, and later actually Ramanujacharya, he was one of his Shiksha Guru, this particular devotee. So that is example of how when worshipped with devotion, Lord speaks to the devotees. Even His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he tells that Srila Prabhupada, after establishing ISKCON in West, he had a desire, to go and preach back in India. But he was in doubt because his spiritual master had just told to preach in West. So he said that, Jayapataka Maharaj says that, Rukmini Dwarkanath came to his dream and spoke that, yes, go to India, and speak. So that way we see even our Rukmini Dwarkanath, they had also, spoken to Prabhupada. But it says, it takes one to know one, right? We have to elevate our devotion, premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. So when we have that devotion, then why not? So Krishna is ye yatha mam prapadyante, right? The way you go with him as if he is a stone, he will behave as if he is a stone. You go with him as if he is a Supreme Lord, he will reciprocate as if he is a Supreme Lord. That's how he reciprocates. But our Srimati Radharani, Rukmini Devi, they are more merciful than Lord also, that they always are like, benevolent, giving this merciful glance. So that was the second point, that this arcā-vigraha, there are certain rules which needs to be followed while carving the deity, while installing the deity. And then when that is done, then we have a deity where we can do this devotional service. But if we are not careful, then this vigraha can become galagraha. Prabhupada says that. Means what? Galagraha means stone in the neck, which will help you sink further very fast, drown. That means if we are not careful worshipping deities, then not only it will create offense, it will ruin our spiritual life. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives that example wherein there was a person who used to worship, Shaligram, and then when people used to offer nuts, like in India, the almonds, right? They have a cover on it. So when they offer, he used to close the door, take the same Shaligram, to break that nut and eat it. So that is example of, and I think it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Prabhupada, please correct me, Prabhu. He said, if we don't worship deities, they'll become burden. They'll become like a stone in a neck. I know in one of the temple there were suddenly some devotees, they left, and then the head pujari, he was in such a tense situation. He said, maybe we have to reduce the standards, or to cut down the offering, this or that. But then the other devotee pitched in. He said, no, let's put a schedule. Some devotees got extended. They continued the worship. So the point is, once the standards are set, come what may, we have to follow that. And of course, that should be done with love, not as a burden. But if we are not careful, then that becomes burden. That's why even in ISKCON we have, I think there are rules that unless there is a specific set of Brahman initiated devotees, they won't allow just for deities to install, because they don't want, two guys are very enthusiastic, let's have a deity worship, and they do it for 6 months, and then something happens to one person, then others are feeling, hey, what to do with this. So it has to be done very carefully. So it is said that fire, spiritual master, and deities, keep safe distance. Fire can help cook very fast, but it can burn also. Spiritual master can elevate us, but if we are not careful, Guru Aparad. Madhavendra Puri is one of the disciple, Ramchandra Puri, right? He became a ghost because he offended spiritual master. And third one is deities. If we are not careful, then same deities which are there to liberate us, take our service, can have a reverse effect. And this deity worship, especially actually, in South India, there were some Vishnu temples like Lord Rangnath or there the deity worship was, and then they were so dedicated that when this Mughals, they attacked this temple, so just to make sure that the deity is not desecrated, they had to drown that deity in ocean or some big lake. So at that time, one of the pujaris used to tie to that deity, and he used to get drowned with a puja plate, so that I'll worship them till the time I have a breath, even down. So that was their devotion and the level of care they used to take actually. So and then devotees have different they use their intelligence to make sure that deities are protected. Like in Vrindavan, when they were attacked, they were moved to Karoli or to Jaipur, right? So it is like deities are like cannot say babies, but they are like we have to take care of them like that child. So that way we need to be careful. Otherwise, this vigraha can become galagraha. Vigraha can become very troublesome, which is not the correct mood. So that was the second point. And then the third point is that when with such a devotion, such deities carved, installed, and devotees are serving, then we can, with our eyes, which many times requires a speck, we can still see that same beauty. We can still get the realizations. We can still get that reciprocation. Because Pratima nahi tumi sakshat vrajendra nandana, that they are non-different from Lord. And we have this classic pastime of Sakshi Gopal, right? All know story. This person went with an old man, he promises a daughter, comes back, his son says, no, you cannot marry. And he says, oh, but was there any witness? He said, yes, Lord. So he walks back to Vrindavan and he says, Lord, please come, you have to give witness. He said, how can I walk? I am a deity. He said, if you can talk, you can walk. So walk. So went walking all the way from Vrindavan to close to Orissa, couple of 100 miles. And to that day, still while going to Jagannath Puri, we can take darshan of this Sakshi Gopal deity, very nice. So when we have this faith, then why not? Deities will reciprocate. So that was the second point. And this deities, then we can, whatever in scriptures we have this beauty of Krishna is mentioned, we can see that is, we can observe. So there is this beautiful verse which says, right, Madhuram Madhuram Vapurasya Vibho Madhuram Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Madhugandhi Smruti Matametadaho Madhuram 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 Madhuram. So Lord Krishna's form is sweet, but his face is more sweet. And out of his face, his smile is most sweet. So Krishna's beautiful face is compared to like a moon, right? So there was this, I think it was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Baldev Vidyabhushan, please correct me, Prabhu, that he, in the Gayatri Mantra, it comes that Krishna's form is like 24 and a half moon. So he was figuring out. And he could not figure half. So he was so desperate, he said, if Shastras cannot be wrong, but at the same time I am not able to understand, so let me fast till death, till the time I realize. So, and then I think it was Srimati Radharani or Krishna, they come in his dream and they tell. So let's see, the beautiful moon like Krishna has 24 and a half moons on his transcendental body. So let's count, okay. So first of all, his face is full moon, right? And that's one. Then second, there are like 10 fingertips. They are like 10 moons. Then 10 toenails. Those are 10, 20, 21. Then his smile, that is like a half moon, 21 and a half. And there are 3 more. Somebody remembers? Cheeks, 2 cheeks, right? Dots of Chandan, I have not heard that. It mentions that. Okay, but this is the homework, okay? Even for me, okay? Krishna's transcendental body, how it is, 24 and a half full moons. But this, and then Acharyas, they explain so much, like, we can have a complete discussion on just Krishna's beauty. So I'll read from Padyavali, okay? Adhare vinihitam vamsam champaka kausumika kaloplasam vinatam dhanam amsham vamanas satatam namami jiva kamsam. A flute held at his lips, his crown and earrings made up of champaka flower, and his left shoulder slightly lowered as he plays his flute. Just imagine, flute in his lips, crown and earrings made up of champaka flowers, his left shoulder slightly lowered as he plays his flute. To that beautiful Sri Krishna who conquered Kamsa, I bow down over and over again. Another beautiful this thing. I'll just read the translation. His whose splendid earrings hang on the shoulder, whose eyebrows are slightly arched, whose soft lips are somewhat puckered for playing the flute, whose large eyes are shooting crooked glances, whose leaf-like fingers are moving swiftly on the flute, who is blissfully standing in a charming threefold bending posture under a kalpa vriksha. This Jagat Mohan Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra, who attracts all the worlds, should always be remembered. So, and there are like, heaps and heaps of prayers actually, on this, just, Krishna's lotus face. Even the Sachi Sutashtam, it says, that was Pranamami Sachi Sutagauravana Madhuhasya Suhasya Suha Saitam. So it says like, Lord Chaitanya's lotus face, and then the smile, that lotus face is very beautiful, again. So all of us, we can, whenever we come in front of Lord, we can glorify Him with this. Even if we don't know Sanskrit, we can just say, hey Lord, you have such a dashing smile, You have killer pose, whatever way we want to glorify, we can. Krishna is, all there to accept it. So let's, to summarize, we saw the difference between idol and ideal. So not ideal, arcā-vigraha and murti. So arcā-vigraha is a form carved as per the scriptural injunction, and wherein a pure devotee invites the Lord to stay. So that becomes non-different from Krishna. So when we worship that form, that is actually ideal worship, not idol worship. Second thing we saw that, with simple example we can understand, as water is everywhere, but we cannot access it. It's more accessible in the tap. Same way, God is everywhere, but He is more accessible in form of deity. As a currency note is authorized by government, the deity form is authorized by pure devotee. That's why, though it is of the same material nature, we can get a spiritual benefit from Him. They are non-different from Krishna. And then we saw that if we are not careful worshipping Krishna, then Vigraha becomes Galagraha, it becomes stone hanging in our neck. That should not be the case. So we have to be very careful while doing our services in a deity worship. I know many times when devotees, they train, they say that, you should not poke pin to Jagannath or, Rukmini Dwarkadishwar Gaunita, should be very careful. So they, in Mayapur, when they do this, rather, here also, when they teach how to make turban, the first thing the teacher does is, he lifts the turban and moves the hand like this. If the pin touches, fail. That means that pin is going to touch Lord, right? So, to be very careful. So, and then last we saw that when we have this understanding, when we worship this archa form, when we receive, the Lord reciprocates. And then we can see that transcendental beauty even with our material eyes. So, and then with these prayers, let's all develop attraction to this beautiful Lord Krishna. Another, my favorite verse is it describes the whole form of Krishna going to herd his cows. Baraha pidam natvaravapu karanayo karanikaram bibhratvasam kanakakapisham vaijayantim chamalam randhram venu radhara sudare apuryan gopa vrunde vrindaranyam swapadaramanam pravishyad gita kirti. So let's all remember this beautiful form of Krishna or any other form, Lord Ram, Lord Narasimha. Some devotees, they die for Lord Narasimha's smile when he's putting his hand on Prahlad. Now Narasimha Deva is such a killing in progress personality, but devotees are dying to see his smile because he's such a benevolent. So Lord is benevolent and there are so many forms, and that's why Kapila Devi is saying there. So let's all pray that we develop attraction to at least one such form so that we perfect our life and then do our best to serve our most beautiful Shri Rukmini Dwarkadhish, Shri Rukmini Dwarkanath, and perfect our life. Thank you, Prabhupada, for giving us this opportunity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Questions we can discuss. Okay, Prabhuji, one question actually.
Yeah, you mentioned about finding a particular stone to carve the deity. I heard that before, but do you know where that's mentioned in Shastra?
I know there are some scriptures regarding to this Tapati Shastra. I'll get the names, bro. I don't know offhand, but I'll try to find the exact name of that scripture.
Okay.
Yeah. Hari Bhakti Vilas has? Yeah. Prabhuji is saying Hari Bhakti Vilas has a lot of that. I have not read it.
I never read it in there.
Oh, I also have not read it.
I read a lot of the Hari Bhakti. I never saw it in there.
Okay. I'll try to get that detail, Prabhu. But I have heard from authorized devotees this. Yeah. I'll get the reference.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. One more question last, actually.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. So, when you are worshipping the deity, right, we always want to, follow all the rules and regulations. And also when we are offering to the deity, we always want to offer the best quality, either the fruits or the flowers or, whatever ingredients, right? But it often so happens that sometimes we may not always get the best ingredients to offer to the deities, right? So, I recently came across a letter, one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was in London. Saraswati Thakur sent him to London to preach. And, there was some correspondence letters which are recorded. And in one of the letter, this disciple asks that in London, he's not able to get pure sugar. I mean, he heard that the sugar has some contaminations in it. And he was worried about that, offering it to the deities. And then he wrote back, and Saraswati Thakur responded back to his letter. And I recently came across this. I found it very interesting. I thought it is very relevant to this class. Yeah. So I'll just read it's just 4 lines. Foreign sugar or mixed ghee is impure. our native unadulterated sugar and unmixed ghee is pure. But both pure and impure things are material substances. If one does not offer things with feelings in his heart, the Lord will not accept anything. It will be pure, be it be pure or impure. What is required is to perform service without offense. If one serves Sri Nama, the holy name, with his body, mind and words, then Sri Nami, the possessor of the holy name, will reveal all his auspicious form. I hope your worship is going on nicely. So this is a response given by Saraswati Thakur. He didn't tell to stop using that sugar. I mean, he didn't tell it exactly like that, but he kind of emphasized it more, not to bother too much about those ingredients, but more offer with the feelings in the heart, then the Lord will accept anything. Would you like to comment anything on this?
Yeah, so this is true when we are on Antarctica and there is, some impure sugar available. But fortunately, currently most of the temples and most of the places, we have facility wherein we'll get, the good things. But of course, what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is mentioning is about that, love and devotion, which even Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. So, for temple deities, because we have facilities, there should not be a reduction in standard saying that, I am offering with love and devotion the CNH sugar. No, but there is a raw sugar available, so let's use that. Why to use when we know that, there is impurity and when we know that there is alternate available. For that alternate, if we have to go an extra mile, let's do that, because that's, the standard we want to keep for the deities. So this love and devotion should not be an excuse for endeavoring a little bit extra to get the pure things. So that is for our temple deities. Now at home, if somebody has deities, if the standards are a little less, that's okay. But in temple, we should, unless there is an earthquake and nothing available, all the shops are dumped in the ground, and we just have a CNH sugar and we don't have any bhoga to offer, that can be star exception case. But exceptions are not, rules. So that's my understanding. Yes, Prabhu, you want to add? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. The elephant in the room is always milk. Because we know, generally speaking, the milk in the market is not the best. So, I was recently in Seattle. They have 2 farms there. One close to the temple and one close to the border with Canada. So their temple is supplied with milk from cows cared for by devotees. But that's not always possible, especially like right here in Los Angeles. And therefore, Prabhupada established an authority system. And as individual devotees, we have to plug into that authority system. If everybody gives themselves a right to go or circumvent the authority, then we don't have a movement. So that's on them. If Krishna is not satisfied, then they will get the reaction. So we follow the authority structure. If it's possible, some devotees think, well, no matter what the expense, you can spend $20 a gallon to get milk from New Vrindavan or, Gita Nagari. They'll ship it to you. That's not necessarily possible. So therefore, there's an authority structure. Whatever the authorities do, we have to follow. If they're not willing to spend $20 a gallon to get milk from Gita Nagari, they will tell you. They'll send it by UPS. You can get that. But are we capable of doing that? If we're using 100, 200 gallons a month, can we afford $20 a gallon milk? That the authorities have to decide, not the individual devotees. So if there's some fault in that approach, then it falls on the authorities, not on you. But yes, if we can follow the Seattle approach, which Hari Bhakti did very nicely, yes, if we can do that, if we can establish a farm close to the Los Angeles temple and get fresh milk every day for the deities, let's do it. That's a challenge for devotees and congregation members who have the means. As Gopa Krishna Maharaj once said when I was in the DC temple, Potomac, he told the members, he got a gathering, and he said, look, I know you guys, when you came off the boat, in other words, when you came to America, you, your wife, and 2 children, you had a 1-bedroom apartment. And then you upgraded to a 3-bedroom house. Now you're living in a $2 million mansion. Why don't you upgrade Krishna? You're willing to keep Krishna in the same status while you keep changing your status. upwards. So it's a challenge to devotees and the members of the congregation who have the means to always try to do the best for Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you for adding that. Yes. Okay, last one.
Prabhupada in the purport says that the Lord even reciprocates in the dreams of the devotees. So is there any guidance how to really measure when the Lord is manifesting, or when is our mind, or whatever? So any...
That's a little tricky point. I did not touch, but okay, it has come up. So there are two things. We have to, there is, at least as far as I heard, there is no set guidelines, but we have to see in general level. I remember this incident happened in one of our base when we used to sit together in student. One fellow, he suddenly got up, he said Rupa Goswami came to my dream and he asked sweet rice, so he started preparing sweet rice. And this Radhesham Prabhu, he came to know this, he came to base, he gave a heavy class actually, in which most of these things were covered. He said that first of all, to be at very safe side, we are not that advanced wherein a spiritual master or deities is going to come in our dream and going to direct us to do something. This is the most safe way to take. Second thing, even if something comes in a dream, check if that is in line with what Guru Sadhu Shastra is saying. So for example, I cannot say, oh, Krishna came in my dream and he asked me to eat a burger in a McDonald's. Is that not what Guru Sadhu Shastra is saying? Guru Sadhu doesn't say that go and eat beef, right? It's plain, clear. So, of course, there are certain, very senior, sincere devotees even within our movement, Prabhupada disciples and others, for whom Krishna or Prabhupada had come in dream and directed. Well, that's completely different. But on a sadhaka level, to be safe, even if something comes in dream, check if it is falling within Guru Sadhu Shastra. If it is falling, then again, if it is something that for individual, okay, Krishna came to in my dream and said, you need to improve my japa. It's very good. Work on improving japa. But don't take that, you know what, Krishna came to my dream. I speak to deities, like that Ramanujacharya's Guru I was giving example. So what we are doing with that dream? Are we taking some action to improve, or are we using that to pretext to become get a name, fame, glory? So if we are, just saying that, Lord came to my dream, Prabhupada came to my dream, then it's more of a sentimental level wherein we are trying to become famous on that pretext. So this is not, recommended. So even if it has come, okay, what am I supposed to do? Action that we need to take. Somebody has really said, some Krishna said that, every day you should come and offer me, some flowers. You do it sincerely at your own level. You may at max, reveal it to your spiritual master, get it clarified. So that's always, good, get it clarified. Don't use it for becoming, try to become famous on that. And to be safe side, check this 3 system. Guru Sadhu Shastra, if what you have seen in dream. Because see, many times what happens, it says that in whole day you are thinking something, it gets mixed up in a dream because your mind is still active. So it's not actually coming from Krishna. Like say example, I am thinking of a lion and I am thinking of a race. In dream, it may come that a lion is, chasing me. Right? That is natural. Or like I am thinking of some new car. In dream, it may come that, I am going in that new car. But that should not be taken as, Krishna is, told me to go and get that new car. Right? So, I have not, this is what my understanding on this subject, that first, to be on safe side, never think that we are so advanced that Krishna and Guru are going to come in our dreams and direct us. Prabhupada has given us enough instructions. If we follow them, more than enough. Okay. Second thing, even if it comes, check if whatever you have seen in dream, is it following this 3 filter, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra? Is it same with that? And third, if there is some action given in that dream, do it silently for your own benefit. Don't make it a show to get name, fame, glory. That's what I could think of. Makes sense. Okay, I think we would stop here. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Krishna Bhagwan ki jai.